The gun pressed against Isabella's spine felt almost romantic compared to what Khalid's fingers were doing under the table. They were supposed to be enemies. She was supposed to seduce him, extract the intel, complete the mission. Instead, she was coming apart in a crowded Athens restaurant while he whispered the names of her murdered colleagues in her ear, proof that everything her agency told her was a lie. His other hand held documents showing her own deputy director's signature on the kill orders. "Your people want you dead, habibti," he breathed against her throat. "Question is, do you want to die for them?" Isabella Molina steps onto the marble terrace of the Hotel Grande Bretagne's rooftop bar, her emerald dress clinging to curves purposefully chosen to distract. The Athens skyline glitters behind her like a stage set. She's been tracking Khalid Al-Rami for 3 weeks, studying his patterns, his contacts, his weaknesses. Tonight, she'll make first contact, seduce him, extract intel about the data leak. Simple. She spots him immediately. Tall, sharp-featured, wearing a perfectly tailored charcoal suit that probably costs more than her monthly salary. He's leaning against the bar, nursing an old-fashioned, seemingly absorbed in conversation with a Greek defense contractor. Isabella glides closer, positioning herself in his view, waiting for the right moment to accidentally bump into him. But before she can execute her approach, Khalid turns directly toward her. His dark eyes lock onto hers with unsettling intensity. He abandons his conversation mid-sentence, crosses the space between them in 4 strides, and suddenly he's there, too close, invading her carefully calculated personal space. "Your perfume gave you away before your cover did," he murmurs in accented English, his breath warm against her ear. Chanel No. 5. Bold choice for a woman trying not to be memorable. Isabella's pulse spikes. Not from attraction, she tells herself, but from the sharp sting of professional failure he's made her. Somehow, this Jordanian operative she's supposed to be honey-trapping already knows exactly who she is and why she's here. Every instinct screams at her to abort, to retreat and reassess. But Isabella Molina didn't climb through the ranks of Colombian intelligence by backing down. She recovers with a slow, purposeful smile. "And yet you still came over. Which means either you're dangerously confident," she lets her fingertips brush the lapel of his jacket, "or dangerously curious. Perhaps both." Khalid's hand finds the small of her back, bold and claiming. "The question is, Isabella, do you still want to pretend you're here for the view, or shall we skip the foreplay and discuss what we both really want?" Isabella's initial impression of Khalid was that he was annoyingly smug, clearly more skilled than her briefing suggested, dangerously attractive in that could-ruin-your-career way. She hates that her body responded to his nearness before her brain could shut it down. Khalid thought Isabella was exactly as beautiful as her surveillance photos, but sharper, more dangerous than expected. The tremor in her pulse when he touched her tells him she's not as controlled as she pretends. Good. He can work with that. They end up in a neutral location. A suite Khalid is swept for bugs, where he pours her expensive Lebanese wine, and they circle each other like prize fighters looking for openings. Isabella tries 3 different questioning techniques disguised as flirtation. Khalid deflects each one with maddening ease, sometimes finishing her sentences, sometimes revealing he knows details about her missions she's certain aren't in any file. "How long have you known?" she finally asks, abandoning pretense. "That the legendary La Vibra was being sent to seduce me?" Khalid's smile is sharp enough to cut. 2 weeks. Your agency has a mole, habibti. You might want to worry about that instead of whatever fairy tale they told you about me. The revelation lands like a punch. Isabella's mind races. If there's a mole in her agency, her entire mission could be compromised. But is he telling the truth? Or is this just counterintelligence designed to make her paranoid and sloppy? Khalid moves closer, backing her against the floor-to-ceiling window overlooking the Acropolis. His hand braces against the glass beside her head. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to report back that you made contact, that I'm interested, that I'm taking the bait. And why would you want me to do that?" "Because, Isabella," his thumb traces her jawline with unsettling tenderness, "I need someone exactly like you. Someone skilled, someone expendable to their own people, someone angry enough at being used that they might actually listen when I tell them the truth. The air between them crackles with tension. Professional, sexual, dangerous. Isabella knows she should push him away, maintain distance, keep this tactical. Instead, she finds herself leaning into his touch, just slightly, testing. What truth? Khalid's lips curve. That we're both pawns in someone else's game. The difference is, I know it, you're still pretending to believe in the mission. Isabella doesn't sleep. She spends the night running background checks, reaching out to contacts, trying to verify Khalid's mole claim. At dawn, her phone buzzes with a message from an unknown number. The file you're looking for is in your deputy director's safe. Access code 847392. Check his offshore accounts while you're at it. Your new partner in crime. Below the text, a photograph of her deputy director meeting with a known black market weapons dealer. Metadata confirms it was taken 3 days ago in Zurich. Isabella's hands shake as she lights a cigarette. If this intel is real, if her own agency has been compromised at that level, then everything she's worked for, every mission she's completed, every risk she's taken could be built on lies. Her phone rings. Khalid's number. Did you get my gift? How did you? Meet me tomorrow. Amphiarayan of Oropos, 2 o'clock. Come alone or don't come at all. He pauses. And Isabella? Whatever you do, don't file a report about tonight. Not yet. Not until you know who you can trust. The line goes dead. Isabella stares at the photograph on her screen, at the evidence that suggests her entire world might be built on corruption and lies. The smart play is to report everything, Khalid, the photo, all of it, and let her superiors handle it. But what if Khalid is right? What if reporting it plays directly into the mole's hands? For the first time in her career, Isabella Molina doesn't know who the real enemy is, and that terrifies her more than any bullet ever has. The hook. Isabella must decide whether to trust the enemy who claims to be telling her the truth or the agency that might be using her as a throwaway pawn. Either choice could destroy her. But doing nothing isn't an option, because now Khalid Al-Rami has made himself the only person who might be able to give her answers. Isabella arrives early, scanning the ancient ruins for threats, her weapon reassuringly solid against her spine. The sanctuary is nearly empty on a weekday afternoon, just a handful of tourists wandering among weathered columns and crumbling stones. She's about to check her watch again when Khalid appears from behind a section of the ancient theater, moving with predator grace. You came, he sounds almost surprised. I verified the photo. My deputy director was in Zurich exactly when you said. Isabella keeps her distance, professional. That doesn't mean I trust you. It means I want answers. Khalid produces a USB drive. Everything I've compiled on your agency's leak. Names, transactions, meeting records. Your people have been selling intelligence to the highest bidder for 18 months. Arms dealers, terrorist organizations, anyone with enough money and motivation. And the data leak you're supposedly planning is real, Khalid confirms. But it's not international secrets I'm exposing. It's them, your corrupt leadership. I've been building this case for a year, waiting for the right moment to pull the trigger. His expression hardens. They sold information that got 6 Jordanian operatives killed in Damascus. One of them was my brother. The raw pain in his voice catches Isabella off guard. This isn't the smooth, smirking spy from the rooftop. This is a man driven by grief and rage, emotions she understands all too well. Why tell me any of this? Because your agency will send someone to kill me before I can expose them. Probably soon. Probably you. Khalid steps closer, voice dropping. But if we work together, we can do more than just leak documents. We can take them down properly, all of them. Make sure they face actual justice instead of just public embarrassment. Isabella should walk away, should report this immediately, should absolutely not be considering collaboration with an enemy operative who just admitted he's about to destroy her career and everything she's built. Instead, she hears herself ask, "What do you need?" They establish a pattern over the next 2 weeks. Secret meetings in crowded cafes where they can disappear into tourist crowds, dead drops in ancient ruins, encrypted communications that Isabella knows she should be reporting but somehow never does. They're sharing intelligence, cross-referencing sources, building a case that gets stronger and more damning every day. But there's something else happening beneath the operational partnership, a tension that has nothing to do with espionage and everything to do with the way Khalid's hand lingers when passing her documents. The way Isabella catches herself watching his mouth when he's explaining something technical. The way they've started standing just a little too close, testing boundaries neither of them should be crossing. One evening, they're working in a cramped safe house Khalid maintains in Plaka. Isabella is cross-referencing bank transfers while Khalid traces communication patterns on his laptop. The space is intimate, one room, one bed, which Isabella steadfastly ignores. The smell of coffee and the blue glow of computer screens. "Tell me about your brother," Isabella says suddenly. Khalid's fingers still on the keyboard. For a long moment she thinks he won't answer. Then, Rashid, 3 years younger than me, brilliant with codes, terrible with women, made the worst jokes at exactly the wrong moments. His voice is carefully neutral, but Isabella can hear the grief underneath. "The intelligence your people sold led to an ambush in Damascus. Rashid and 5 others were targeted specifically. It wasn't random. It was assassination by information." Isabella sets down her coffee. "I lost my partner 2 years ago. Bogota operation. Bad intel led us into a trap." She doesn't usually talk about Sophia, but something about this moment, this strange intimacy with a man who should be her enemy, loosens her tongue. "She died covering my escape. I've spent 2 years believing it was just operational failure, just bad luck. But now you're wondering if it was something worse. Now I don't know what to believe anymore." Khalid closes his laptop, turns to face her fully. "We're both here because the people we trusted betrayed us, used us, got people we loved killed." He reaches out, thumbs away a tear Isabella didn't realize had fallen. "We don't have to keep letting them." The kiss happens without decision. One moment they're colleagues united by grief. The next his mouth is on hers and she's pulling him closer, desperate for something real in a world that's revealed itself to be built on lies. It's angry and hungry and probably the worst tactical decision either of them has ever made. They break apart, breathing hard. "This is a terrible idea," Isabella whispers. "Catastrophically bad," Khalid agrees. They stare at each other for 3 heartbeats. Then, Isabella's hands are in his hair, and they're stumbling toward the bed neither of them was supposed to acknowledge. And operational security can go to hell, because right now, the only thing that matters is this: connection, heat, truth in a world that's shown them nothing but lies. His hands map her body like he's memorizing classified intel. The curve of her waist, the sensitive spot behind her ear, the way she gasps when he bites down gently on her lower lip. Isabella tears at his shirt, desperate to feel skin against skin, to have something real and solid when everything else has turned to smoke and mirrors. They make love with the intensity of 2 people who know this might be the only real thing they ever get to have. Fierce and raw and absolutely reckless. When Isabella comes apart in his arms, she doesn't know if she's crying from pleasure or grief, or the overwhelming relief of finally feeling something honest. Afterward, they lie tangled together in the narrow bed, both knowing they've just crossed a line they can never uncross. "We can't do this again," Isabella says into the darkness. "Absolutely not," Khalid agrees, his fingers already tracing patterns on her bare shoulder. They both know it's a lie. The morning after, they're both determined to keep things professional. What happened was stress relief, nothing more. A momentary lapse in judgment. It absolutely cannot happen again. It happens again that afternoon, and again that evening. By the end of the week, they've fallen into a rhythm that's equal parts operational partnership and intense secret affair. They tell themselves it's just physical, a release valve for the pressure they're both under. Neither acknowledges that they've started sharing things that have nothing to do with the mission. That Khalid now knows about Isabella's childhood in Medellin, her complicated relationship with her mother, her secret dream of opening a bookstore when she retires. That Isabella knows Khalid's favorite poet is Mahmoud Darwish. That he makes terrible puns in 3 languages. That he's terrified of becoming like his father, who died bitter and alone. Then comes the night that changes everything. They're conducting surveillance at the port of Piraeus, tracking a weapons shipment connected to their investigation, when Isabella spots a familiar face in the shadows. Marcus Chen, a fellow Colombian operative she trained with, someone she thought she could trust. Khalid, she breathes. 10 o'clock, that's one of mine. Alone? Never works alone. Isabella's mind races through implications. If Marcus is here, it means my agency knows. They know I've gone off mission. They know about us. As if on cue, Marcus turns directly toward their position, too precise to be chance. He's been sweeping for surveillance. He knows they're here. Time to go. Khalid grabs her hand. They run through shipping containers, across loading docks, Marcus and at least 3 other operatives in pursuit. Gunfire cracks in the night. Khalid returns fire while pulling Isabella around a corner. They make it to his car, peel out into Athens traffic, with bullets shattering the back window. Your safe house in Plaka is compromised, Isabella gasps. If they found us here, they know about all of it. I have another location. Amman, we can... No. Isabella's thinking tactically now. Survival mode overriding everything else. If we run to Jordan, your people will grab you. If we stay in Greece, mine will kill us both. We need somewhere neither of our agencies has operational control. Khalid's jaw tightens. I know a place, but you're not going to like it. They've gone from careful operational partners to something far more dangerous. Lovers on the run, fugitives from both their agencies, with nowhere safe to hide, and a mission that's now become about survival as much as justice. The professional boundaries they tried to maintain have completely dissolved. They're in this together now, completely, irrevocably, dangerously together. And somewhere in the chaos of running for their lives, Isabella realizes with cold certainty, she's falling for him, for the enemy, for the man who might be the only person in the world she can actually trust. They hole up in an old warehouse in the industrial district, one of Khalid's contingency locations that theoretically no one else knows about. It's cold, dusty, smells like rust and abandonment. They have enough supplies for maybe 3 days, 2 laptops, and each other. Isabella patches a graze wound on Khalid's shoulder where a bullet came too close at Piraeus. Her hands are steady, professional, even as her mind races through everything that's just imploded. Her career, her identity, every certainty she's built her life around. I need to contact someone in my agency, she says. Not officially, but I have a friend in signals intelligence, someone who might... No, Khalid catches her wrist. The moment you reach out to anyone in your organization, you create a trail. They'll use it to find us. So what's your plan? We just hide forever? Hope they forget about the 2 operatives who went rogue and started screwing while building a case against both our governments? The vulgarity lands hard in the space between them. This is the first time either has acknowledged out loud what they've become to each other, and how catastrophically complicated that makes everything. Khalid's voice is carefully controlled. We finish what we started. We expose them. We make sure the truth gets out through channels neither agency can shut down. Then, we disappear. Disappear where, Khalid? We're intelligence operatives. We're trained to find people who disappear. You think we can just... What? Change our names, move to some beach town, pretend we're normal people? Would that be so terrible? The question hangs between them, weighted with implications neither is ready to face. Before Isabella can answer, Khalid's phone buzzes with an encrypted message. His face goes carefully blank as he reads it. What is it? My handler in Amman. He's offering amnesty if I come in. Full protection, drop charges, clean record. Khalid looks up. For me, just me. You're not mentioned. The silence that follows feels like falling. That night, unable to sleep, Isabella makes a decision Khalid would absolutely forbid if he knew. She uses a burner phone and an encrypted connection to reach out to Sophia's sister, Maria, someone outside the agency, someone she trusts. Maria's face fills the small screen, older than Isabella remembers, marked by grief that hasn't faded in 2 years. Bella, God, we thought you were dead. There are rumors. Maria, I need you to tell me the truth about Sophia's mission, the one in Bogota. What do you know about the intel that led us into that ambush? Maria's expression shifts. Guilt, fear, something else Isabella can't quite read. You need to let it go. Whatever you're digging into, it's not... Maria, please. A long silence. Then, after Sophia died, I found files she'd hidden. She was investigating something inside the agency. Corruption. She thought someone high up was selling information. She was scared, Bella. The last time I talked to her, she said if anything happened, I should assume it wasn't random. The confirmation hits like physical force. Sophia wasn't just unlucky, she was murdered by their own people to keep her quiet. Did she say who? Just one name, someone called Vargas. That's all I... Maria's face suddenly contorts with horror. Bella, behind you. Isabella spins, reaching for her weapon, but Khalid is already there. He's been standing in the shadows, listening. His face is unreadable. How long have you been there? Long enough. Khalid doesn't move closer, doesn't retreat. You were going to tell me about this contact, right? About breaking basic operational security to make an unsecured call that could lead them directly to us? Don't. Isabella's voice is sharp. Don't you dare lecture me about security when you just got an amnesty offer you didn't mention until now. That's different. How? How is it different, Khalid? You get a clean way out and you're seriously considering it. Don't pretend you're not. They don't sleep. They argue in harsh whispers that echo off concrete walls, circling each other like wounded animals, both terrified and furious and in too deep to see a way out. Khalid wants to accelerate the timeline, release everything they have immediately before either agency can shut them down. Isabella wants to wait, to build an airtight case that can't be dismissed as fabrication or propaganda. But underneath the operational disagreement is something far more dangerous. Fear. Fear that they've made all of this worse by getting involved with each other. Fear that emotions are compromising their judgment. Fear that they're going to get each other killed. You want to know the real problem? Isabella finally explodes. The problem is, I can't tell anymore if I'm making strategic decisions or if I'm letting my feelings for you cloud everything. And I hate that. I hate not trusting my own judgment because some Jordanian spy with a revenge mission got under my skin. Got under your skin? Khalid's laugh is bitter. You think this is just about me, Isabella? You're using this entire mission as an excuse to not face the fact that your partner was murdered by your own people, and you've spent 2 years pretending it was just bad luck. You want revenge just as much as I do. The only difference is, I'm honest about it. Honest? You're hiding an amnesty offer? And you're hiding that you don't actually want justice. You want blood. You want someone to pay for Sophia, for your wasted years, for every lie you've swallowed from people who were supposed to protect you. This mission isn't about exposing corruption anymore. It's personal, for both of us. The words land like a slap because they are true. Both of them know it. Isabella grabs her jacket. I need air. You can't just leave. They're looking for us. Watch me. She makes it to the warehouse door before Khalid catches her arm, spins her around. For a moment, she thinks he's going to kiss her, make this better the way they've been making everything better, with bodies and heat and desperate connection. Instead, he says the thing that changes everything. I'm not in love with you. Isabella goes very still. What? I'm not in love with you, Khalid repeats, voice rough. Whatever this is between us, it's trauma and isolation and good sex, that's all. We're convenient for each other right now. We're both damaged people using each other to feel less alone. But love? No, I can't afford love. Not with someone I might have to betray to complete my mission. The words are meant to hurt, meant to push her away, meant to re-establish the professional distance they've lost. Isabella knows this. She knows pain is weapon, knows strategic cruelty designed to protect. What she doesn't know is why it still feels like dying. Fine, she says, voice hollow. Good to know where we stand. She pulls free of his grip and walks out into the gray Athens dawn, leaving Khalid alone in the warehouse with the lie he just told. The lie they both know is a lie, which somehow makes it worse. They've reached the point where continuing together is dangerous, but separating is impossible. Both their missions have become hopelessly tangled with personal stakes. Sophia's murder, Rashid's death, the betrayals that made them both into weapons for people who never cared about their survival. And underneath it all, the terrifying realization that what they feel for each other is real enough to compromise everything, but also the only real thing either of them is left to hold on to. They've barely spoken in 3 days. They work in silence, sleeping in shifts. Communication reduced to terse operational updates. The tension is suffocating, everything unsaid hanging between them like smoke. Then Isabella finds it. She's deep into encrypted financial records when a name jumps out. Deputy Director Vargas. Not Isabella's deputy director, Khalid's. The file shows wire transfers, meeting records, communications with the same weapons dealers and black market operatives that have corrupted Isabella's agency. Khalid. Her voice is carefully neutral. I need you to see this. He comes to stand behind her, close enough that she can feel his body heat, smell the soap and gun oil and sleeplessness. The screen shows the evidence in clinical detail. Khalid's own deputy director, the man who gave him this mission, the man who's now offering him amnesty, is part of the same corruption network they've been investigating. No, Khalid's voice is flat. That's not possible. Vargas is the one who brought me the intel about the Damascus ambush. He's the one who approved this entire operation. Look at the dates. Isabella pulls up another file. He gave you the intel 3 weeks after the ambush. He waited, let you grieve, then gave you just enough truth to point you in the right direction, toward my agency, not his. He's been using you, Khalid, the same way they've been using me. Khalid braces his hands on the desk, studying the screen. Isabella watches his face as understanding settles in, the grief, the rage, the bone-deep betrayal. She knows exactly what he's feeling because she felt it when she learned about her own agency's corruption. The amnesty offer, he finally says. It's a kill order. They're bringing me in to eliminate the problem quietly. Yes. And you knew. When you saw this file, you knew what it meant. Isabella turns to face him. I could have hidden it. Could have let you take that amnesty, get out clean, let you be someone else's problem. She holds his gaze. I didn't. Because whatever you said 3 days ago, whatever lies we tell ourselves about what this is, we're partners. And I don't leave my partners in the dark. Something breaks in Khalid's expression. The careful control, the professional distance, all of it crumbling. He pulls her into his arms with desperate force, burying his face in her hair. I'm sorry, he whispers. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Any of it. I was just... I know. Isabella holds him just as tightly. I know. They make a plan. It's dangerous, probably suicidal, but it's the only option left. Simultaneous data dumps to multiple international media outlets, accompanied by physical evidence delivered to specific journalists in 3 countries. Everything they've gathered on both agencies. Everything that proves the corruption goes right to the top. The plan requires them to split up, Khalid handling the Athens contacts, while Isabella manages connections in Rome, 2 hours apart, just long enough to execute the operation before anyone can stop them. They're preparing to leave the warehouse when Isabella's burner phone rings, a number she doesn't recognize. Isabella Molina. The voice is female, cool, professional. My name is Director Sarah Chen, NATO Intelligence Liaison. I need you to listen very carefully. Your life depends on it. Khalid moves closer, listening. Isabella puts the phone on speaker. Both your agencies have issued termination orders. There's a kill team en route to your location right now. You have maybe 5 minutes. Why are you telling us this? Because Deputy Director Vargas made a mistake. He tried to bring NATO into his operation, wanted us to provide cover for certain transactions. We've been investigating him for 6 months. You and Mr. Al-Rami have built the case we need to take down the entire network. But you have to survive the next 24 hours. What do you want? Meet me in Rome, Piazza Navona, tomorrow, 1400 hours. Come alone, both of you. I'll have protection teams in place. You deliver your evidence to me, we grant you official immunity, and we burn these bastards together. The line goes dead. Isabella and Khalid look at each other. Every instinct screams trap. But the sound of vehicles pulling up outside the warehouse suggests Director Chen wasn't lying about the immediate threat. Window, now! Khalid grabs the go bags they've kept packed. They make it out seconds before the door crashes in. Automatic weapons fire shreds the space where they were standing. They run through back alleys, over fences, through the industrial maze, split up to divide pursuit, rendezvous at a predetermined point 3 kilometers away. Isabella reaches the meetup first, a construction site, abandoned for the night. She's checking her ammunition, trying to control her breathing, when she hears footsteps. Multiple sets. Too many. Marcus Chen steps into view, flanked by 4 operatives, all Colombian, all people Isabella used to work with, train with, trust with her life. Bella. Marcus's voice is almost gentle. You've put us in a terrible position, made us look bad, made the agency look bad. You understand we can't let you keep making trouble. Isabella's hand moves toward her weapon, but she's outnumbered, outgunned, and exhausted. This is how it ends. Killed by her own people in a Greek construction site, another casualty of the machine she thought she was serving. Then, gunfire erupts from behind her. Khalid comes in like a force of nature, precise, brutal, absolutely lethal. He takes out two operatives before they can react, provides covering fire while Isabella recovers and returns fire herself. Marcus goes down with a bullet in the shoulder. The remaining operatives retreat. In the sudden silence, Isabella and Khalid face each other across the concrete wasteland, both bleeding from minor wounds, both shaking with adrenaline. "You came back," Isabella says stupidly. "Of course I came back." Khalid's face is fierce, raw, stripped of every defense. "Did you really think I'd leave you? After everything?" They find shelter in a maintenance room near the harbor. Cramped, smelling of diesel, the sound of water lapping against hulls. They have maybe an hour before they need to move again, before the next wave of hunters finds them. Isabella is bandaging a gash on Khalid's arm when he speaks. "I lied 3 days ago, when I said I wasn't in love with you." Her hands still on the gauze. "I know. It was the most tactical thing to do. Push you away, protect us both from the complication, keep the mission clean." He catches her hand, holds it against his chest where his heart is racing. "I was wrong. This isn't clean. It's never been clean. From the moment I saw you on that rooftop, nothing about this has been tactical or strategic or smart." "Khalid, let me finish." His voice is rough. "I told you I was using this mission to avenge Rashid. That was true. But it stopped being just about revenge somewhere along the way. It became about you, about us, about trying to build something real in the middle of all these lies." He brings her hand to his lips. "I love you, Isabella, completely, catastrophically, in ways that make me question every operational decision, because I keep choosing you over the mission, over survival, over everything." Isabella's eyes burn. "You're right. That is catastrophically stupid. I know. We're going to get each other killed. Probably. And even if we survive the next 24 hours, we're fugitives. We'll spend the rest of our lives looking over our shoulders, trusting no one, always waiting for the other shoe to drop." "Yes." Isabella leans forward, presses her forehead against his. "I love you too. God help me, I love you too. And I hate that I love you because it makes everything so much more complicated and dangerous and impossible." "We could walk away," Khalid offers, "right now. Forget the evidence, forget Director Chen, forget all of it. Just disappear. Find some remote village, change our names, spend whatever time we have left trying to be normal people." It's tempting. So tempting Isabella can taste it. A life without fear, without missions, without constantly calculating angles and watching for threats. Just her and Khalid, and maybe someday, something like peace. But Sophia's face flashes through her mind, and Rashid, and all the others who died because of the corruption they're trying to expose. "We can't," she whispers. "Can we?" "No," Khalid agrees. "We can't." They hold each other in the dark, two spies who fell in love while trying to burn down the world that made them into weapons, knowing that tomorrow they'll either expose the truth or die trying. And either way, everything changes. He kisses her then, slow and deep and absolutely honest, his hands cradling her face like she's something precious. When they break apart, Isabella can taste salt. She doesn't know if it's from her tears or his. "Rome," she says finally. 1400. "Hours. We finish this. Together. Together." They make love one more time in that diesel-smelling room, with the sound of water and distant sirens, knowing it might be the last time. It's different from the desperate coupling in Plaka. Slower, tender, heartbreaking. Khalid maps every inch of her skin like he's memorizing her. Isabella commits every sound he makes to memory, the way his breath catches, the way he says her name like a prayer. Afterward, they lie tangled together, and for just a moment, they let themselves imagine a world where they get to keep this, keep each other, keep the fragile, impossible thing they've built between them. But dawn is coming. And with it, either salvation or destruction. They've reached the point of no return. Both their agencies want them dead. The only potential allies might be NATO operatives who could just as easily be part of the problem. And they've finally, catastrophically, admitted what they feel for each other, which makes survival both more essential and more complicated. The mission and the love affair have become the same thing, a desperate attempt to create something real and true in a world built on betrayals. They arrive separately, 2 hours early, both expecting a trap. Isabella positions herself in a cafe with clear sight lines. Khalid circles the perimeter, marking exits, identifying threats. They've uploaded fail-safes. If neither of them checks in within 6 hours, the entire evidence dump goes live automatically to 50 different media outlets. Dead man's switch, mutually assured destruction. At 13:55, director Sarah Chen appears exactly where she said she would, standing beside Bernini's fountain, flanked by 2 operatives in plain clothes. She's Asian American, early 50s, carrying herself with the casual confidence of someone who's been in intelligence long enough to stop being impressed by her own importance. Isabella approaches first, Khalid 30 seconds behind, both scanning for hidden threats. Mr. Al-Rami, Ms. Molina, Chen's smile is professional. I'm glad you survived the night. I wasn't certain you would. If this is a trap, we've already won, Khalid says flatly. The evidence goes public either way. I know, I'm counting on it. Chen produces a tablet, pulls up encrypted files. In the last 18 hours, we've arrested 14 people across 6 countries. Deputy Director Vargas, his Colombian counterpart, 3 arms dealers, 8 mid-level operatives who handled the actual transactions. We've frozen 17 offshore accounts and seized evidence that corroborates everything you've compiled. Isabella's pulse quickens. You already had them? We had suspicions. What you two provided was proof. Chain of custody, documented transfers, recorded communications, all admissible in court. You built the case we've been trying to build for 2 years. Chen closes the tablet. Which brings us to you. The part where you eliminate the loose ends? Isabella's hand drifts toward her weapon. The part where I offer you a choice. Chen's expression doesn't change. Option 1. You disappear. We create new identities, relocate you somewhere neither agency can touch you, provide enough money to start over. You live quietly, stay out of intelligence work, and never speak about any of this publicly. And option 2, you come work for me. NATO has been trying to build a counter-corruption task force for years. People who understand how intelligence agencies operate, who know the vulnerabilities, who can't be bought because they've already lost everything that mattered. You too would be perfect. Chen pauses. The work would be dangerous. You'd make powerful enemies, and you'd have to operate in official capacity, which means oversight, accountability, rules of engagement. Khalid and Isabella exchange glances. Neither speaks, but something passes between them, the question they haven't dared ask. What happens to us when this is over? We need to discuss it, Isabella says. You have 1 hour. Chen produces 2 phones. These are secure. Call me when you decide. They find a rooftop terrace overlooking the Tiber, the Roman sun warm on their faces, the ancient city sprawling around them, beautiful and indifferent to spy games and betrayals, and 2 people trying to figure out if love is enough to build a life on. What do you want? Khalid asks. I asked first. No, I mean, really. If you could have anything, do anything, what would make you happy? Isabella thinks about it. Really thinks. 3 months ago, I would have said validation, knowing I was right about the corruption, seeing the bastards who killed Sophia face justice. She leans against the railing. Now, honestly, I want to wake up next to you without immediately calculating threat assessments. I want to have coffee without checking exits. I want 1 whole day where we're just 2 people who met and fell in love, not 2 operatives who destroyed their careers for revenge. That's option 1 then. Disappear, new identities, quiet life. What about Rashid? What about all the others who died because of this corruption? If we walk away, if we take the quiet life, do we get to just forget them? Khalid is quiet for a long moment. Then, I used to think avenging Rashid meant destroying everyone responsible, making them hurt the way I hurt. But you know what I realized? He turns to face her. Rashid would have hated this, all of it. He believed in justice, not revenge. He believed institutions could be better if good people stayed and fought to make them better. So you want option 2, join Chen's task force. I want whatever means I get to keep you. Khalid's voice is fierce. I'm tired of losing people. I'm tired of missions that grind us down into nothing. If there's a version of this life where we actually have a future, where we can do meaningful work and have each other, then yes, I want that. Isabella feels something loosening. Her chest. Fear, maybe. Or the armor she's worn so long, she forgot it was there. It won't be easy. Working together, living together, being together without the adrenaline and the danger to distract us from actually dealing with our problems. Probably not. We'll fight. We'll drive each other crazy. We'll have to actually communicate instead of just having incredible sex and pretending that's intimacy. Likely. And we'll have to trust an organization again. Put faith in leadership. Follow orders from people who might let us down. Yes, Isabella reaches for his hand. But we'd be doing it together, choosing it together, not because we were manipulated or because we had no other options, but because we decided this is what we want. A real partnership. A real chance. Khalid pulls her close, kisses her with the kind of tenderness that feels like a promise. Tell Chen we'll take option 2 with conditions. Conditions? We work as a team, always. No separating us for operational convenience. No using one of us to control the other. We're partners or we're nothing. Isabella smiles against his mouth. You know what Sophia used to say? Never trust a spy who won't negotiate their surrender terms. Smart woman. The smartest. She would have liked you. Probably would have shot you on principle first, but she would have liked you. They call Director Chen. Accept the offer. Set the terms. And for the first time since this all began, they're not running from something. They're choosing to run toward something instead. The apartment overlooks Lake Geneva. Modest, secure. Exactly the kind of place 2 mid-level NATO intelligence operatives could reasonably afford. Isabella is making coffee in an actual kitchen, wearing Khalid's t-shirt, her hair still messy from sleep. Khalid is at the dining table reviewing case files for their next operation, a potential corruption ring in Eastern European defense contracts. It's domestic. It's normal. It's everything they never thought they'd have. Come look at this, Khalid calls. Isabella brings coffee, peers over his shoulder at the screen. What am I looking at? Deputy Director Vargas's sentencing, 8 years minimum, no parole. Khalid scrolls down. His Colombian counterpart got 12. The arms dealers are looking at 15 to 20 each. Isabella sits in his lap, wraps her arms around his shoulders. We did that. Actually made a difference. We did. Khalid closes the laptop, gives her his full attention. Chen called while you were asleep. New assignment. Potential corruption in the Pakistani intelligence service. Would require 6 months in Islamabad, deep cover, possibly dangerous. Sounds familiar. I told her we'd think about it. What's there to think about? Isabella kisses him slowly. We go in together. We build the case. We expose the bastards. We come home to this apartment and have boring domestic arguments about whose turn it is to do dishes. That simple. That simple. She pulls back to look at him. We're never going to have the quiet life, are we? The beach house and retirement and pretending we're normal people? Probably not. Good. Isabella's smile is fierce. Because I tried normal. I tried following orders and trusting institutions and being a good soldier. You know what it got me? Betrayal and grief and watching people I loved die for someone else's profit. She touches his face. This, us, this work, this choice to keep fighting, this is the only real thing I've ever had. I'm not giving it up. Khalid's phone buzzes. He glances at it, shows her the screen. Team briefing tomorrow 09. Your Islamabad assignment details. Chen. Tomorrow morning, Isabella says. We can think about work tomorrow morning. And tonight? She stands, pulls him toward the bedroom. Tonight we're just 2 people who met at a party in Athens, who fell in love while trying to burn down the world, who somehow survived everything that should have killed them and decided to build something real instead. Khalid follows her, pulling her close once they reach the bedroom. You know what's funny? When I first saw you on that rooftop, I knew you were going to ruin my life. And you did. Completely. Catastrophically. He kisses her neck, his hands sliding under the t-shirt she's wearing. Best decision I never made. They fall into bed laughing, then gasping, then lost in each other the way they always are, desperate and tender and absolutely real. Isabella arches into his touch, her fingers tangling in his hair as he maps every inch of her skin like he's done 100 times before. But somehow it's always new, always urgent, always theirs. Afterward, they lie tangled together, sweaty and sated and completely content. Through the window, the sun sets over Lake Geneva in shades of gold and crimson. Tomorrow they'll be back in the field, hunting corruption, risking everything, dancing on the edge of danger. But tonight they're just Isabella and Khalid, partners in every sense of the word, building a life that's messy and complicated and real. I love you, Khalid murmurs against her hair. I love you too, Isabella whispers back, even when you steal the blankets. I don't steal the blankets, you're a blanket hog. Lies and propaganda. He laughs, holds her tighter. 6 months in Islamabad, think we can handle it? Together, we can handle anything. It's not the ending either of them expected. It's better.